Hello, everybody. How are you? Well, I just was thinking about this while reading something about the latest Thor movie, which I haven't seen yet. I don't know if frankly, I don't know if I want to. Really, you know, I didn't want to see the last Doctor Strange. I didn't want to go to the cinema anyway to pay way too much to see it until it came out on Disney Plus, and I saw it for free, you might say. And yeah, I didn't really think it was so bad, maybe, but definitely could have been better also. And this is now has been lately. Also, the last Spider-Man movie, for instance, was a disappointment. Really, it was overdone, overcooked. I would call it. I didn't like all that nonsense with the three different Spider-Man all interacting, and it just didn't work out the way they thought, I guess. But when it comes to tour movies, you must remember that franchise has been a turkey from the start, actually. And actually, I don't get why. Probably the least stinky part of it, what the second one gets the most flack as the uh, worst of the movies. Well, it's not really, but it doesn't mean it's good. Of course, it's not. And but why have we seen so many disappointing Marvel movies and TV shows as well lately in the last couple of years? Well, I think I know, or I'm trying to actually find out to figure it out. Well, one thing is that too many they first of all, they sometimes employ the wrong directors, alright? People who will have done way too few movies to be given such a big project that, is so eagerly anticipated. So this guy, Taika Waititi, however you call him, I don't know how much he has done before. I hear has gotten an Academy Award. I don't know what for. But what I can say is that since he came on the helm of the Thor movies and some others as well, I don't know what else here, but I hate it. I have hated Thor since For instance, the character of Valkyrie is so ridiculously overblown over everything. I mean, to turn her into that kind of person, some crappy 21st century, you know, in how you call it, independent woman bullshit, all that stuff with her. But what? All right, you can turn her into an independent woman, but why did she have to be like one who drinks and fights and has to be like bisexual to be interesting as well, because they make such a big deal out of this LGBT stuff now. They have to have the representation now, or however they call it, inclusiveness. Inclusiveness is the very reason why these movies stink, alright? Because they think too much about have we included enough LGBT characters, having enough non-white actors, all that stuff. That's while in reality they should be thinking is how to make this as good as an adaptation as possible, on-screen adaptation. Because this is comics, right? We're talking about. We're not talking about Dostoevsky or anything like that. For Christ's sake, come on, it's ridiculous. So I'm gonna take a look at this guy's what has he done, uh, Mr. Waititi? He was an actor actually at first. That's right. All right, nothing wrong with that. From New Zealand, yeah, that's right. So he won an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. So, all right, for a movie called Jojo Rabbit. I haven't seen that one. Anyway, so he didn't win an Oscar for directing actually, but for writing. All right. So how many movies has he directed? Let's see. So far. All right. He's now doing Akira. Oh no. For goodness sake. Well, he hasn't really directed many, it appears, until before this Thor movie. He also, of course, did the last one, Ragnarok, which I thought was so ridiculous. I mean, they turned the whole thing into parody. Come on, you can't do that. You can't do that. If you wanted to, you should have said this is a comedy version of Thor, not the real version of the comic books. So as I said, I hate Valkyrie. I mean, I like Tessa Thompson as an actress, but she really just goes on my nerves especially in Ragnarok, the way they have her posing, running around, fighting, and being a total, annoyance, supposedly very butch and independent woman who is supposed to be some kind of challenge almost for Thor. The most ridiculous part was in Endgame, was or sorry, what? Yeah, Endgame, when he like gave her the rule to rule Asgard. Actually, Thor left the rule to a woman who used to be a slaver, right? And she's supposed to be the king, not the queen, all right? Come on, man, come on. And everybody's so excited about her finding her a queen. So that's what most of the anticipation was about, and only to discover no, she didn't get that. Wow, that was a pity. So yeah, I mean, if this movie was just Thor and she Thor running around, and Core, I must say, is just a ridiculous character. He's not funny. He's not fun. He's not anything. He's just there to be like, as I said, a ridiculous character. And I find it even more hilarious that they also made turn him into an LGBT figure. That's really right. Yeah, I mean, you are ridiculous, people. You are really ridiculous. You have really destroyed the credibility of the whole kind of Comic Con world. Let's call it that, all right. World of comics, comic books, and comic book based movies. Yeah, it was starting to look good, and then everything went because they got too greedy. And you saw what happened after the first Captain Marvel. We don't even know when the next one will happen and who will play her, but I don't think it will be Brie Larson. You saw what happened after that. People were making petitions to replace her. An actress like, I mean, if for heaven's sake, you should be thankful that somebody like Brie Larson agreed to play, uh, uh, let's call it a childish character, almost children's, heroine. Someone as talented and beautiful and charming as she, and she's been a champion for both women and black women, especially, in the movie industry and colored women in general. And what is the thanks she gets? She gets the thanks that people want to replace her just because she isn't colored or gay. I mean, lesbian or bisexual, whatever. Just because she happens to be blonde and straight. You know, you know. So to sum up, where did it go wrong? When politics or fucking politics started to meddle with all this stuff, And it was bound to happen sooner or later because these movies were really big, doing really well. This franchise has become so big naturally because everybody, many people like to watch these movies because they are about, like really like superheroes, really grand heroes and heroines doing exciting stuff and the great, graphics and all that CGI stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch, definitely. But as far as the artistic quality of the whole thing, there is none, really, almost none to be found in any of these movies. I thought the first Doctor Strange maybe was, and the first Ant-Man was closest to being some sort of, having some sort of artistic quality. Yeah, I liked the first Ant-Man. I thought it was, but the second one stank badly, stank. So yeah, they ruined it. They ruined everything. If not with the first sequel, then with the second usually. So Thor was bad from the start, from the first movie, and that is a problem because if the first movie stinks, where do you go from there? Because if you have the first movie, which is good, then the first sequel is not so good, but then you can also have, figure out what was bad about the second movie, then you make a better third one. But if it was bad from the start, you get my point. It's very difficult to make anything good out of it. Yeah, I mean, I really hate all those movies. I stopped going to the cinema because there are so many childish people, behaving in a childish way in the cinema. And frankly, I'm quite sick of all this stuff. I wish just that the MCU would fucking end forever, because frankly, DCU has now become far more credible, I would say, than MCU. And nobody would have expected that like 5, 6, 7 years ago, but it's true. They are doing some interesting stuff actually now. I don't like the Aquaman and Wonder Woman, that old bullshit. It's crap. Alright. But the Batman movies, yeah. I mean, even the last one was sort of, interesting enough. So they have always been the like sorry the beacon, let's put it away, for DC movies and comics. They have been like the measure stock. Because Superman is childish, right? The man who flies around with his red cape and blue outfit, whatever, is childish. A man who can do everything. We don't want to see that, right? We don't want that. We don't want that. It's not exciting. But a man like Batman, of course, a man just like anybody else, just that he is a little more courageous and can fight and I would also like to see maybe them make a movie of course, Punisher and Daredevil would they do deserve it, but I'm afraid they would just ruin it, just like they did with so many others who were, you know, promising at first, promising franchises. Yeah, and I also watched, of course, they will have Moon Knight that ended already, of course. I thought it could have been better also. uh, Kamala or Mrs. Marvel. I mean, I've just started watching that, but it doesn't look like something that I would really enjoy. But fair enough, it's different, and that's all right. I welcome that. It's different, right? It's about a teenage girl. But what also bothers me is that they make so much fuss about her religion, her being the first Muslim, superhero, all that. They make such a big fuss out of that because that doesn't really matter at all. What matters is the character itself, right? And not what her background may be, or either ethnic or religious. So, yeah. As I said, they just employed far too many directors who were not up to the task, and they also cast quite a lot of wrong actors in certain parts and actresses who just stunk up the whole movie. And yeah, I don't know what else to say really. I mean, you've all seen it, right? I don't have anything left to say because I think this is really what goes on now is just garbage. It's cheap humor paired with how good looking everybody is, how buff Chris Hemsworth looks, and stupid humor coupled with that, and some exhausting CGI and action scenes with really boring. And the other thing is that fight scenes, the action scenes are so boring and exhausting. They really take their toll on the the viewer, right? So they're never ending. You know, one thing that I thought that was bad, that kind of ruined Winter Soldier for me, was the end, which there was so much explosions and machines, airplanes getting smashed and blowing up, and I don't see why they had to make it so fucking exhausting, man. Other than that, it was pretty good. Still one of the best, probably the best Marvel movie. Still, together with Ant Man and the first Doctor Strange, probably. And I really love Benedict. I still love watching Benedict Cumberbatch because he's such a great actor as Doctor Strange. But way they also sometimes make him do bad jokes. It's he can't help it. It's not his fault, of course. So yeah, these movies should really. I mean, they should either really kind of start thinking of doing something else, doing it differently, or they should just wrap it all up. If they can't find anybody good enough to direct the movies, if they can't find anybody good enough to act in them, then why bother doing them? It's just for the money, right? Well, you will lose money also if the movies aren't a success, right? So that's all I had to say. Bye bye.